Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Logan Rowe, and it is an honor to stand before you today as the new director of our state's Emergency Management Agency. I want to thank the governor for this appointment, and I also want to thank each of you, the representatives from fire, law enforcement, EMS, hospitals, state and federal departments, city and county leaders, and members of the private sector for being here and for the work that you do every single day. Before stepping into this role, I spent the past 15 years serving as fire chief of two fire departments within the state on Kauai and Hawaii Island. Throughout those years, I had the privilege of leading teams through emergencies, major incidents, multi-agency operations, and periods of growth and challenges. That experience taught me not only the technical side of emergency response, but also the human side, the importance of communication, consistency, clear expectations, and trust. Those years also gave me a deep understanding of what it takes to manage limited resources, support tired first responders, coordinate with multiple agencies, and keep communities safe during rapidly changing conditions. It's also taught me how critical it is to build strong relationships before disasters happen. In many ways, those lessons shape the way I see emergency management today. I want to share with you my vision for the next 4 to 5 years, a vision shaped by experience and centered on the idea that trust is the foundation of everything that we do. Trust between agencies, trust among first responders, and trust within our communities. Without trust, our plans fall apart, but with trust, every part of our system becomes stronger. When we look at recent major disasters like the 2023 Lahaina wildfire on Maui or the 2018 Kilauea volcano eruption on the Big Island, we can clearly see how important trust and coordination are. These incidents showed us how our strengths, but also exposed some of our weaknesses. The lessons we've learned are real and they demand action. Another important lesson from these disasters is the need to be honest about both our strengths and our weaknesses. When something goes well, we need to recognize it so that we can repeat it. But when things do not go well, we need to examine it carefully and be willing to make changes. The public expects us to learn from every incident, not just move on and wait for the next one. By being open about what we are improving and why, we give people a reason to trust their government is not only reacting, but also growing and adapting. The first priority I want to focus on is strengthening community trust and communication. This is the number one issue that will determine whether our work succeeds or fails. During an emergency, the public wants information that is clear, consistent, and credible. They want to understand what is happening, what they need to do, and why they need to do it. To achieve this, communication can not only happen in a moment of crisis, it must be steadily built over time through outreach, education, transparency, and consistent messaging. Over the next several years, I plan to improve our warning systems, streamline messaging, and strengthen communication channels with residents in both urban and rural areas. This includes working with schools, community groups, businesses, and cultural leaders to create a deeper understanding of risks, response procedures, and preparedness steps. When the community sees that the information is reliable, that agencies are coordinated, and that messaging is steady and accessible, they develop confidence. And confidence in communication can save lives. Building trust also means being present in the community when there's no emergency. That can look like attending local meetings, participating in preparedness fairs, visiting schools, and listening when residents share their concerns about hazards in their neighborhoods. People notice when leaders show up in a crisis. When they recognize our faces, understand our roles, and see that we are willing to listen, they are much more likely to follow instructions and cooperate during an actual emergency. We also need to keep in mind that not everyone receives information the same way. Some people rely on television or radio, others on text alerts or social media, and some only hear important information from friends, family, or trusted local leaders. Part of strengthening communication means working with a variety of platforms and checking regularly to see which methods are truly reaching people. Communication plans should be living documents that are adjusted over time, not just something that sits on a shelf. The second priority is improving wildfire readiness. Wildfires are no longer occasional events. They are happening more frequently on both windward and leeward sides of the island. Dry conditions, invasive grasses, and expanding development create a growing risk across many areas of our state. Over the next 4 to 5 years, I plan to strengthen wildfire preparedness by improving mapping of high-risk zones, expanding fuel reduction strategies, and enhancing early detection tools and improving evacuation planning. This work requires strong coordination, not only between government agencies, but also with landowners, utility companies, agriculture, and private partners. It also involves a lot more training. We need to increase training across counties with an emphasis on multi-agency drills and more realistic wildfire scenarios that reflect our actual terrain and resources. We need to act before fires start, not only when they are actively burning. Another key part of wildfire readiness is public education about defensible space and personal preparedness. While not every home in our state can be fully hardened against fire, there are realistic steps that many families can take to reduce risk around their property. Simple actions such as clearing dry vegetation, understanding local fire weather conditions, and knowing evacuation routes can make a meaningful difference. When residents see themselves as active partners in wildfire readiness instead of just bystanders, our overall system becomes much stronger. We must also remember that wildfires not only threaten homes, they can damage critical infrastructure such as power lines, water systems, and communication sites. A major fire in the wrong location can affect hospitals, shelters, and transportation routes. That's why I intend to work closely with critical infrastructure partners to assess vulnerabilities, review backup plans, and make sure that wildfire planning is integrated into future projects. The third priority is first responder wellness. During my years as fire chief, I saw firsthand the toll it takes on first responders. The emotional and psychological demands of this work are enormous. First responders witness trauma that most people never see. They work long hours under pressure, and they can carry responsibilities that they often keep to themselves. Emergency management cannot function without healthy first responders. Over the next several years, I intend to work closely with county departments, unions, hospitals, and mental health professionals to expand peer support programs, create accessible mental health services, and normalize the idea that seeking help is part of staying strong in this job. A resilient emergency response system depends on resilient first responders. Supporting first responder wellness is not only about crisis counseling after a major event, although that is important. It is also about everyday practices that protect mental and physical health over a long career. This includes realistic staffing levels, adequate rest periods, and training that helps responders recognize stress in themselves and in their coworkers. When leaders talk openly about wellness and take concerns seriously, they create a culture where people feel safe asking for help before they reach a breaking point. The fourth priority is strengthening statewide mutual aid. Because we are an isolated island state, moving personnel and equipment is far more complex than in other parts of the country. Our ability to respond quickly across islands depends on planning, coordination, and practice. My goal is to strengthen mutual aid agreements, streamline requests for resources, and conduct inter-island training exercises so that every island understands not only what resources exist, but also how they will be deployed and supported. In major incidents, whether they involve fires, storms, or large-scale medical incidents, we must be ready to operate as one coordinated team. Mutual aid also depends on clear communication systems that work under pressure. It is not enough to have radios and equipment. We need common procedures, shared terminology, and agreed upon roles when multiple agencies are operating together. Part of my plan is to support more training that focuses on communications and coordination. When responders from different agencies train side by side and practice unified command, they build relationships that pay off during real emergencies. The fifth priority is developing stronger partnerships across all sectors. Emergency management is not just a government responsibility. The private sector plays a vital role in transportation, communication, energy, logistics, and supply chains. Schools, nonprofits, local businesses, churches, and community organizations are often the first to support residents during and after emergencies. My vision includes establishing more regular coordination with these partners, not just during a crisis, but throughout the year. We also need stronger collaboration with FEMA, the National Guard, the Coast Guard, NOAA, and other federal entities. A connected system is a stronger system. Partnerships with the private sector and nonprofit organizations can also help us address gaps that government agencies cannot fill alone. For example, local businesses may be able to provide transportation, food, or supplies faster than traditional channels. Nonprofit groups have deep connections with vulnerable populations and can help us reach people who might otherwise be overlooked. By involving these partners in planning and exercises, rather than calling them at the last minute, we can create a more coordinated and efficient response when time matters most. The sixth priority is improving the fire department's role in EMS operations during disasters. During large-scale incidents, the need for EMS increases rapidly. Firefighters are often the first point of contact for triage and early medical treatment. We need clear planning to handle increased EMS demand, transport coordination, medical shelter operations, and communication between fire, EMS, hospitals, and emergency management. Roles must be clearly defined, expectations clearly communicated, and training aligned with all stakeholders. The seventh and final priority is growing our training and professional development programs. The future of emergency management will require leaders who are adaptable, creative, and well trained. The challenges we face with climate driven disasters and aging infrastructure require first responders and managers who can think critically and lead confidently. Over the next several years, I will continue to expand access to FEMA programs, uh, ICS training, leadership development, and multi agency exercises. We need to invest in our people. Strong training builds strong teams, and strong teams save lives. Training should also reflect the reality that emergencies often involve multiple hazards at once. A storm may be followed by flooding, landslides, or long power outages. A wildfire may trigger evacuations, shelter operations, and complex recovery issues. Scenario-based training that includes these trickle-down effects help first responders think beyond the first few hours of an incident and encourages them to anticipate what might come next and prepare for it early, which can prevent small problems from becoming larger ones. As I step into this role, I want to make something clear. I am here to serve Hawaii. I am not coming into this position with every answer. I am coming in ready to listen, ready to learn, and ready to support the people who have been doing this work for decades. My leadership philosophy is grounded in teamwork and steady decision making. Emergency management is about protecting lives, supporting families, and restoring stability to communities after a disaster. It is about being prepared for the unexpected and being united when the moment comes. As I move into this position, I also want to emphasize that I see this work as a partnership with everyone in this room. I may hold the title of director, but no single person can manage emergencies alone. The ideas, feedback, and experiences of first responders, local officials, and community partners are essential. I encourage open communication, honest discussion, and constructive criticism. If something is not working in the field, I want to know about it so that we can work together on solutions that make sense in the real world. So I want to close today with a clear commitment, my commitment to our communities. I will work every day to strengthen our emergency preparedness, build trust, support first responders, improve coordination, and ensure that our state is ready for challenges come our way. Our communities are counting on us. Our families are counting on us. We owe them our very best. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your service. And thank you for your continued dedication to protecting our state. Mahalo.